This is episode number 858 on the account executive we're looking to hire. Welcome back to the SuperDataScience Podcast. I am your host, Jon Krohn. We've never done an episode like today's. Instead of covering a specific data science related topic, in today's episode, I'm letting you know about a critical role that we're hiring for on this SuperDataScience Podcast. Perhaps you are the person we're looking for, or maybe you know the person that we're looking for. For a bit of context, over the years, we've had tons of great sponsors who have allowed this show to be possible, including huge global data science brands like Amazon Web Services, Oracle, Anaconda, Intel, HP, Posit, JetBrains, Udemy, and Gurobi. All of our content is 100% free, and we publish 104 high-quality episodes every year, meaning that we require sponsorship revenue from brands like that in order to pay the team that supports that high volume of content output. And hopefully, every once in a while, you also do actually learn about a product or service that could be genuinely useful to you in this data science niche. So we've published now over 850 episodes. This is the 858th, with one coming out every Tuesday and every Friday all year round. We've been running the show for over 8 years and monetizing through sponsorship for 3 years. In that time, we've grown to become the most listened to podcast in data science amongst the top tech podcasts and in the top 0.5% of podcasts across all genres, competing even against, the kind of true crime shows and the other kind of really popular genres out there that probably as a data science podcast will never be able to eclipse, but that's okay. We're not trying to become the biggest show in the world. We're just trying to make a great show for you in particular. Yeah, and it's been an amazing experience over these last 8 years with many of the best known names in AI and machine learning, data science more broadly, coming as guests onto the show. So what's the new role that we're looking to fill? Well, as the world's most listened to data science podcast, we obviously have a fair bit of reach, particularly in this data science genre or, amongst machine learning or AI podcasts. And so we're now looking for a kind of sales expert called an account executive to join us and help us grow our revenue to match all of the exposure, all of the reach that we have with the podcast. More revenue will allow us to invest even more in the production of the show and make the podcast better than ever. For example, it'd be amazing to eventually get to a point where we can record all of our episodes in person with guests like they do on shows like the Joe Rogan Experience. So what are we looking for in our account executive? Critically, at least to start, we're only seeking applicants based in Canada, and they would ideally be in or near the Eastern time zone. We expect that this account executive would need to have at least 5 years of full-time sales experience to excel in this role. And they will lead all aspects of sponsorship sales, including owning revenue targets, shaping strategy, creatively solving our clients' marketing needs, our sponsors' marketing needs, and helping us steer the podcast's growth overall and ultimately make this an even better show than it ever has been before. So we're looking for a real partner here. If this person happens to have a strong technical background, particularly in AI or data science or related fields, that could be a great asset because our clients typically offer highly technical products that are ideally suited to our technical audience, that people like you that are often highly technical people, hands-on data scientists, machine learning engineers, software developers, those kinds of people. So when you're selling products, when you're marketing products like that, it can be helpful for your counterpart to also have a strong technical background or at least a lot of experience in the AI or data science space. We think this is a super exciting opportunity. We're offering a highly competitive base salary, uncapped commissions. We have strong product market fit already. Typically, we have a quick and painless sponsorship sales cycle. We know that other podcasts with comparable listenership figures to us have about 10x the revenue we do, 10 times the revenue, suggesting that we're nowhere near realizing our revenue potential on the show today, which would, that means this is a great time to be joining. This account executive could play a big role in that growth. And there's one other reason I think is a bit of a potentially a really big factor here is that in the past year, I've begun hosting high value, high production ads for television. So with clients like NVIDIA, Dell, and AT&T, and there's no reason why we couldn't be producing ads of that extremely high television quality with podcast sponsors. So now that, I've kind of developed that experience, bringing that into what we offer our podcast sponsors could be something pretty cool. And yeah, could lead to dramatically accelerating revenue growth for the podcast overall. And hopefully that ends up happening so that we can, not only keep making the show, which, there's no risk of this show stopping. We're, we have a strong listenership base because of people like you that are always tuning in. We have great sponsors that come back for more. But yeah, I mean, we know that the show could be so huge, and it's just it's a matter of kind of lining up all of these stars, and revenue is a part of that picture. So hopefully someone that would be interested in this. I've got a link to more information in the show notes to today's episode. Maybe that person is even you yourself. That could be pretty interesting to have someone who is an existing listener of the show come in and apply for the role and get involved. That would be the ideal scenario. So yeah, exciting things ahead. I love this podcast so much. It's my favorite thing in the world to be doing. And yeah, I can't wait to see where we can grow it to in the coming 8 years. We've got eight great years behind us, and we could have, orders of magnitude bigger splash and just amazing episodes, amazing guests coming in the coming years. All right, that's it for today's episode. We'll get back to our regular programming very soon with, focus on data science and AI content. But hopefully this was an interesting episode, maybe even seeing a little bit behind the curtain of what we're doing here at the podcast. Yeah, until next time, keep on rocking it out there. And I'm looking forward to enjoying another round of the Super Data Science Podcast with you very soon.